DNA testing at birth.
Mandatory.
Mandatory DNA testing at birth. I don't agree with that.
Check that baby.
No.
Like, what? Check that baby. I don't care what nobody say. Check that baby. You never know.
Why?
You never know.
But what I feel like DNA testing at birth to me is like, no matter how you spin it, no matter how you try to dress it up, you are telling your wife, I think you've been cheating on me.
And there are examples where guys raise kids that aren't theirs. Like, it's like, I could understand if it's never happened or if it's not a thing, but that's a thing that happens. People take breaks, raise kids. What was that one story about the dude that like raised the kid like after they took a break and then found out that the kid wasn't his? It happened while they were on a break, and you know what I mean? Like, that's...
I mean, okay, during a break, I feel like I can understand that justification, but it's like, we've been together, we've been rocking together, it's been 8 years, no break, been solid.
No.
You ain't never thought I cheated on you.
You never know.
Once.
No.
If I have a baby, I carried this baby for 9 months. I just pushed out a 8-pound human.
That could not be mine. You pushed out an 8-pound human.
Listen.
For women to want true equality, they must agree to 3 things. 1. Mandatory registration for the draft. 2. For every air-conditioned white-collar job attained, women must equally represent a blue-collar position as well. And 3. Paternity tests at birth. This will solve many people's problems and make it easier for the justice system to see the reality for what it is.
Ex-Chelsea star, Jeremy, old. What do you call it? Divorces his wife after discovering her ex fathered the twins. So, give you more context, yeah? I'll explain it just in layman terms.
Yeah.
They've been going out for years. Well, not going out, but married for years. And then they found out through a DNA test laced down the line that the twins that he's been raising for I don't know how many years of his life are not his kids. Now, the conversation that's had in the topics, in the rooms, is that should now at birth, what do you call it? DNA test be mandatory for both. Well, obviously more for the father.
At birth. That's crazy, you know.
Exactly.
That's
is that
vile to the woman?
I know, but not like him asking for it, but be mandatory.
That's so crazy, yo.
It's mad though, isn't it? I was like, this is juicy.
Imagine the feeling that you'd get though, bro. Like you're taking care of your girl
Yeah,
for 9
exactly.
months.
Because now
Pops out and then it's like...
You know what? Yes, it should be.
Yeah.
It should just be there.
Yeah, I think it should be there. No one talked about it, yeah.
Just there.
But, yeah, because I think going through that I shouldn't have to ask for it as a man. But I think it should just be there naturally.
I should be allowed to sue you.
Sue you?
Yeah. Bro, I've been raising kids that aren't mine.
Yeah.
I've been lied to. Bro, how old are the kids? How old are the kids?
I don't know.
Twins?
I don't know.
All right, cool. Let's say this.
Twins, yeah.
Let's say this. You're with your miss.
This is why more men are online teaching other men about the pitfalls of dating women with children, because they are high risk, and it must be having an effect because the number of women with kids now online protesting that men don't want to date them has skyrocketed. Where a DIY paternity test is banned or requires the woman to also agree to have it done, the man should just go ahead and do it anyhow without the knowledge of the woman, because that is basically what has happened to him.
How do you feel about a DNA test being mandatory for all dads? Ooh. And his story was he took care of a child for a substantial amount of time and later on ended up finding out that child was not his. So he had to pay child support for this child. Of course, he had a very close relationship with this child. However, the mother of the child did not have to repay back any of that child support. So he's the one that's going through the emotional damage. He's the one that's damaged. And of course, the child is damaged.
Say, do you think DNA testing should be mandatory for all men? Absolutely. But I'm going to ask you what you think. All right.
The DNA test results show that Mr. Smith, you are not Monica's father.
It's well past time for reform in family court and how it treats fathers. This is the 21st century. These reforms should be made exactly the same in all 50 states and U.S. territories. If any woman is found to have lied about who the biological father is of their child, or DNA testing confirms that said child has not been fathered by the man living with this woman, she should be held accountable both criminally and civilly. The child should be placed in protective custody by Child Protective Services.
Ladies, would you be okay with a DNA test being a requirement as soon as you gave birth to your child? Meaning they would test the child and then test the father right there at that moment before a birth certificate is signed. Quick scenery change. So my thing is this: why would anyone be opposed to that as part of the normal routine of giving birth, right? Because we're all making this drastic assumption that we know for sure that that child belongs to the man that may be present or not in the room. And there are a lot of things that can happen. You know, birth certificates can get easily signed without a lot of proper identification. Anybody's name can be put on there if they agree. And in some states, if you are married, you are the presumed father, okay, of that child if it comes out of your wife with no DNA test. It's just the law until you go to court and prove otherwise or request a DNA test. So I know, you know, women want a lot of, you know, reassurances and things like that from men in many different forms, right? They want to make sure that they have marriage licenses, and they want to make sure that, you know, they have access to assets, money, bank accounts. But I'm just wondering, why is it bad or frowned upon when a man says, I'd like to ensure that that child is mine because I have no other way of knowing other than maybe it looks like me? In some countries, there is a good chance, like a 25% chance, that that baby doesn't belong to the father, right? In some countries where polygamy and open relationship lifestyles are very prominent, how do you know? What do you guys think? Oh, wait. So another thing to consider, too, is like the financial impact, right? So when you sign up as the father, you are signing up to be financially bound to that child, right? Whether you're married or not. So your name being on that birth certificate bounds you to financially supporting that child. Child support, all the legalities and all the rights that you would have to that baby. And I know people may say, well, what does it matter? Because if you love the child and you love the woman, who cares? Because if it's not your bloodline, you should know that. Finally. And the man who actually impregnated the woman should be responsible for financially supporting that child. Unless you deem otherwise. Unless everybody's in agreement, that's what you guys decided to do. More power to you. But for cases where men are manipulated and lied to,
Women need to stop sleeping around and then act all shocked when the guy wants to take a DNA test to make sure the kid is his. Tennessee making DNA tests mandatory, Texas getting rid of no-fault divorce, and Florida getting rid of permanent alimony. Women are slowly losing. Women have been lying to men for decades about paternity fraud. When 30% of children are being raised by men who are not their fathers, and the guy doesn't know, it's just wrong. It has to stop.
Right now, there's a huge debate on whether or not paternity tests should be mandatory. A lot of women are against it, to no surprise whatsoever. A lot of them are saying that they would divorce their husband immediately if he asked them for a paternity test. And even some men are saying that it would be labeling their wife as a whore to ask for a paternity test. So I'm going to have to disagree with the women and the men on this that are against mandatory paternity tests, because as a woman, I'm never going to know what it feels like to question if the child is mine or not, with the exception of baby swaps in the hospitals. But how often does that happen? And also, as a woman, why wouldn't I want my child to then be swapped to ensure that that is my child after all, and then give that man peace of mind? This isn't about trust. This is just about peace of mind, because you know what? With the statistics that have come out and the data that has come out with how many women cheat in marriages and how many women cheat in general, if I was a man, I would want a paternity test for sure. In France, it's caused such a debacle that they have made it illegal. Doesn't that in itself speak volumes? I really don't see the issue with this becoming a mandatory thing for everyone to get, because then no woman would feel signaled out. It wouldn't be a personal decision. It would be just something that everyone gets. So it would give your husband peace of mind. It would give you peace of mind because you know that your baby was not swapped at the hospital, and you wouldn't be questioning that trust aspect because everyone's doing it. So I really don't see the issue if this was a government mandate. However, if you guys still have an issue with that, then you know what? Why don't men just get the baby swabbed? I 100% think that every single man should swab their baby. I don't care if you have to do it behind her back. Swab that baby because the risks are way too high these days. And if she's getting offended, that's a red flag, because personally, I would not care. I would not get offended. I would want the peace of mind for myself that the baby wasn't swapped at the hospital. And if I can give my husband peace of mind at the same time, why would I not do that? I have nothing to hide. If someone doesn't have anything to hide, they wouldn't care. You can be empathetic towards the male gender due to this issue that's going on with so many women tricking men into being fathers for babies that aren't theirs.
It's as simple as that. Mandatory paternity testing at birth would solve the whole issue. It would allow the real parents to be named and recognized at the birth of a child. And it would enable parents to know if their partner is the real parent and save them from any confusion later on.
All right, the doctor walks in and tells me I'm in good health, but I'm sterile. I'm like, what are you talking about I'm sterile? I got 3 kids. I don't make no damn sense to me. I don't understand I'm sterile. I don't know. It blows my mind. You know, I got 3 kids. One's 15, one's 12, one's 7. So I'm like, I don't understand that. So,
what do you guys think the punishment should be for situations like this, or what we call paternity fraud? Let me know in the comments.
Let's be real. The government may never make paternity fraud a crime. The government would do everything that prevent women from spending time in jail. However, the government can make laws to make paternity tests mandatory and only the biological fathers to pay child support, not the stepfather or boyfriend or babysitter or some random stranger.
This video, and I've tried to start it about 10 times, but I think we should start by saying a massive thank you to everyone who commented or reached out to me about my video about the DNA test. I can now confirm that I did receive the results today, and
don't cry now.
Oh my god, I think I'm gonna cry again.
Yeah, don't cry. You did that to yourself.
I'm just so.
You wouldn't pay for petrol in someone else's car, and you wouldn't pay for someone else's kid. If someone made up a fake license plate to defraud a gas station of gasoline, it would be a crime. So, if a woman tells you, it's your baby to defraud you out of money, there's no difference, I agree. Paternity tests should be mandatory at hospital. Man should have option of no-fault divorce and not have to pay alimony.
You know you're fine. Here are the results of the paternity test.
Well, what the fuck? Come on, dog. Come on, dog.
What?
Come on, bro.
What you doing all that for?
Read this paper. What the fuck this say?
What you mean? What?
Read what that say right there.
They need to do this over.
Negative. I'm not the father. I'm not the father. I ain't paying no more child support.
They need to do this over.
I ain't paying no more child support, dog. I swear to God, I already knew it, bro. Is everything okay?
Paternity fraud is a pure evil crime that only women do. Men, we have the power. No ring, no proposal, no cohabitation, no wedding, no kids. The family court system is corrupt. Do you want to lose half of everything or more? Think about it long and hard. Marriage is not worth the mental, emotional, and financial risk. Spread the message, tell every man you know. Stay safe. Thanks for watching Latest Juice. Please show us your love by subscribing to this channel and liking, sharing, and commenting on this video to help us make sure the juice is worth the squeeze.